Hi, Alex.
Hi, Marco.
Melanie Radford.
Hi.
Monica will be joining us also from the team from Legal Services in Spain. And of course, we've got Ali Meehan from Costa Women, who is joint hosting for us this afternoon. So welcome, everybody. This is a special specialist panel from Legal Services in Spain. GetSpanishResidency.com is the banner, giving people advice, specialist advice, and one-to-one information for anybody that's looking to approach Spanish residency, looking at the different options for visas, the non-lucrative visa, of course, for most people, plus the Spanish golden visa. So I'm going to pass over to Alex Radford, the legal abogado from Legal Services in Spain, who will give you first the overview of where we are this afternoon and what the topics of the subjects will be. Thanks. Pass over to Alex.
Thanks, Marco, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're really excited about tonight and the seminar because we've received some, lots of questions from you, which is good. So there's a lot of interest in this topic at the moment. As you're all aware, requirements for British people coming into Spain to move here, to reside and retire changed after 31st of December last year. And so now we have a new scenario. Last year, just so you're aware, what we do. So I'm an English solicitor and Spanish lawyer, lived in Spain for nearly 30 years. And last year we acted for more than 350 people applying for Spanish residency across the country. And most of those are British people, but we also acted for lots of Europeans and people from outside of Europe. A combination of pure Spanish residency, golden visas, and the non-lucrative visas. And what we're going to be talking to you about tonight is we're going to be talking to you about non-lucrative visas, golden visas, and some work visas, because we've had some questions about that. If you are married to a European national, or you have a European passport yourself, then you can, it's basically a simpler and easier process to apply for and obtain residency. So this morning I met someone to witness a passport photo. She's applying for an Irish passport, and when she gets that, she'll then apply for residency using that EU passport, which is, as I said, much easier. But we can act for you whether you're European or non-European. So in effect, we're going to talk to you about, first of all, the non-lucrative visa. So the non-lucrative visa, and this procedure was in place last year and has been in place for a few years now, and it was mainly applies to non-Europeans. So we've acted for clients from outside of Europe in obtaining these non-lucrative visas. So what is the non-lucrative visa? Basically, it's a visa that allows you to stay in Spain for more than 90 days in a 180-day period. As a result of Brexit, British people can only spend 90 days in a 180-day period in Spain. But with a non-lucrative visa, you can now spend, if you apply for and obtain that, you can spend the whole year in Spain, and it's a visa that's granted, so you can spend more than 90 days in a 180-day period. Some people are concerned about their tax position when they retire or reside in Spain, and they don't want to become a Spanish tax resident. And basically the criteria for that is the tax year in Spain runs from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. So if you want to spend more than 183 days in Spain, that is the trigger point for you becoming a resident, a Spanish tax resident. And that means that you'll pay tax in Spain on worldwide assets and income. If you don't want to become a Spanish tax resident, then you spend less than 183 days here, and you won't become a Spanish tax resident. You'll continue to be a taxpayer in your home country. The non-lucrative visa, basically, what do you need? So you need a Spanish address. This can be a temporary address, a rental property, or a property that you own. You also need a UK address. You'll need private medical insurance in place, and that basically, if you log onto our website, legalservicesinspain.com, you'll scroll down, there's insurance brokers on there, and they can provide you with quotes for the medical insurance, because it has to be provided by a Spanish broker. You'll need a medical certificate from your doctor in the UK with some specific wording. You'll need a clean criminal certificate. If you're married and applying with your spouse, you'll need a duplicate marriage certificate. And if you're coming out to Spain with dependent children, you'll need duplicate birth certificates for them. The non-lucrative visa has to be applied for at the Spanish consul in the UK or in your home country if you're living outside of the UK. And apart from the documents I mentioned above, you've also got to prove your financial resources. And the main applicant has to have monthly income of 2,259 euros.60 per month, or savings totaling 27,115.20. So the main applicant basically has to have in their bank account 27,115 euros.20. For spouses or dependents, the monthly income is 564.90, or yearly 6,778 euros.80. Okay, so in effect, for a married couple, you've got to have savings or money coming in amounting to 33,894 euros, and for a family of four, it's 47,451 euros.60. Okay, and those are minimum amounts and can be a combination of income from pensions, rental income, and savings, but not salary, as you're not permitted to engage in any form of work activity with the non-lucrative visa, including working online or remotely. So if you were thinking that you wanted to work under the non-lucrative visa, or you were still gainfully employed in the UK, you wouldn't be granted that visa. Okay, so this is basically mainly for people who wish to spend more than 90 days in a 180-day period in Spain, and that would be the visa for them. Okay, we've talked about the tax year. We'll talk about the renewals further on. That's all from me for the moment, Marco, on the non-lucrative visa. And maybe now you might want to ask some of those questions that we've received.
Yeah. I mean, before we move on to the questions, Alex, could I just mention Melanie, part of the panel here for legal services in Spain. Melanie, what part of the process do you assist the applicants with?
Hi. We deal with the process from start to finish. So if somebody wants to apply for the non-lucrative visa, the first thing we will do is we will confirm what documents are required. Alex talked about those documents. We will tell you how to get those documents and the timing of those documents, which is crucial. So we'll also talk to you about, we'll also coordinate the timing of other documents, and we check them. We check the wording. So before you get any document, whether it's legalized or stamped, we check those documents first to make sure that they will be accepted by the Spanish consulate. So we guide you through the process step by step. Then we talk you through about how to actually arrange the appointment at the consulate. Then before your appointment at the consulate, we talk to you about what to expect at the consulate, the order in which to present the documents, and what other documents, what copies of documents you need. So absolutely everything with a checklist. And then once you've had your appointment, we speak again. And then once you've got your visa approval, we then go on to the process in Spain, applying for your TIE card. And once again, coordinating this with you, because some people may be selling a property here in the UK and their timing coming over to Spain. So we'll take all those dates into consideration, and we'll coordinate it with you from start to finish, making sure that none of those documents expire, which are crucial for getting your visa approval.
Okay, so that all seems very clear. So what is the timing on, just to finish on that subject, Melanie, what is the timing? When should people start their application?
Is that for me as well?
Yeah.
Ideally, you need to start the gathering of the documents. Some of those that Alex mentioned, we will prioritize the documents for you of which ones to get first, okay? You really need to be looking at between 1 to 2 months to get those documents together, okay? And then you need, so that's the first part. You need 1 to 2 months before you're going to attend the actual consulate. And then you'll attend the consulate appointment. There's a lead time of approximately 4 weeks of getting an appointment. And then from actually requesting the appointment to getting the visa approval is about seven weeks. So I recommend that you start planning this start planning this about 3 to sort of 5 months before you're thinking of coming to Spain.
Right, and the applicants then need to be in Spain when they need to visit the consulate. That's correct.
When they visit the consulate, the applicant needs to be in the UK, because they will go to the Spanish consulate, which is in their area. So if somebody lives in Liverpool, they will go to the consulate in Manchester. So if somebody lives in the south, then they will go to the consulate in London. If they live in Scotland, they go to the Scottish consulate. So they're applying first of all in the actual consulate in the UK.
Mm-hmm. And then after this process that you're saying, up to sort of 2 to 3 months, then they would need to come to Spain to visit to be in Spain to do the rest of the process.
Yeah, so as soon as they've got their visa approval, which will be in their passport, that visa will be valid for just over 3 months, okay? So within that period of the validity of that visa, they need to come to Spain, okay?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they enter Spain, they will have 1 month to apply for the TIE card. But we coordinate all of this as well, and we complete all the official forms and everything. So, and we arrange the appointment. So it's all a question of timing.
Okay. So that's all clear, Melanie. One final question I've got here from one of the applicants, one of our visitors today. What funds are required to submit an application at the time of application for the non-lucrative visa?
Okay, Alex mentioned the actual financial amounts that you need to show. You need to prove these with your bank statements, okay? Mm-hmm. So you are going to need to provide 6 months worth of bank statements. And we check the bank statements before as well to make sure you're not going to get asked any questions, and to make sure that they will be accepted, because you've got to look at the format of the statements. They've also got to be stamped by the branch as well. So it is in the form of bank statements.
Okay, so there may be some more questions on the subject of non-lucrative visa. We're going to open up for questions towards the end, but before we go on to the general questions, let's talk about the people that want to perhaps look at the other option. Alex, can I pass back to you about the golden visa?
Yeah, thanks, Marco. So just for everyone's interest, I know that Melanie and Monica have been working hard with some clients, and they had their some clients. Was it last week, Melanie, who they had their appointments at the consul in, was it Manchester or London?
London. Oh, London and Manchester.
London and Manchester, and they basically applied for the non-lucrative visa, and they were successful in their applications. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in London in particular, the consulate in London isn't as friendly as the consulate in Manchester, and London are a lot more particular on the documents. And the clients fed back that there is only there's a very low success rate in London of applications going through, because the wording on documents, the presentation of the documents isn't correct.
So they're being a bit pernickety there. And just on the passports, so you get the visa, you're approved for the visa, and what happens with the passport?
Okay, you've got to remember that not all consulates around the world, Spanish consulates, are consistent with their procedures. So Manchester and London aren't consistent. So what happens with Manchester, offer the choice of actually leaving the passport with them. Okay, it takes 10 days for approval currently, and you will get it back quicker. So they will post your passport back to you, and you will get that. Once it's approved, you'll get the passport and the visa back within 2 days. On the other hand, London don't offer that service. Okay, so you then, once it's approved and they've notified you, you then need an appointment to go and collect the visa and in person with your passport. Now that appointment can have a lead time of 2 weeks. Okay, so, but all in all, from actually requesting the appointment from each consulate to actually attending the appointment and obtaining the visa in your hand with your passport, from that process is 7 weeks. So it's exactly the same time scale between the two consulates. It's just a slightly different process.
Okay. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we do find that across Spain, different authorities and offices have different procedures. So we do find a little bit of inconsistency there. And I know, for example, we've been dealing with both of those consuls, and they are incredibly busy at the moment because lots of people. This is the new procedure. Last year, British people could come to Spain and apply for residency here, and now, of course, they've got to apply to the consuls in their home country. So they are under enormous strain at the moment, and in fact, on their website it says that they're receiving a large number of calls and emails. Okay, so we're going to talk about the golden visa now. So basically, again, if you wish to spend more than 90 days in a 180-day period, and you've owned a property in Spain since the 27th of September 2013, or you intend to buy a property with a price tag greater than 500,000 euros, then the golden visa may be the visa for you. Okay, so buying a property 500,000 euros, you'll get the golden visa, and if you've owned a property that was with a purchase price of 500,000 euros plus, from the 27th of September, you could also, 27th of September 2013, you could also apply for the golden visa. And that's got to, it's got to be a property without any debts or mortgages on there. So there's got to be a clear 500,000 euros tag. Again, you'll need private medical insurance. We can help you obtain a quote for that. Again, medical certificate with specific wording, clean criminal certificate, and if you have children or you're married, then you'll need a duplicate marriage certificate or birth certificate. And the financial resources are exactly the same as the non-lucrative visa. So essentially, for a married couple, 33,894 euros in the bank, and for a family of 4, you're looking at 47,451.60. Okay, you can apply for the golden visa from either the consulate in your home country, or you can apply for it from Spain. If you apply for it from the consulate in your home country, it's referred to as the residency visa for investors, what we know as the golden visa, and it's granted for a 1-year period. However, if you apply for it from Spain, it's known as the initial authorization for investors visa, commonly known as the golden visa, and that is granted for a 2-year period. So we would actually recommend that if you're buying a property for 500,000 euros, or you've got one already, that you apply for the visa from Spain, because actually it's not the consuls that deal with that visa. They've got a department here in Spain specifically focused on helping clients or helping owners of Spanish property apply for and obtain this visa. So we present the applications electronically online. The fee to apply for it, the Spanish charge a cheaper fee if you apply for it in Spain compared to the UK. And the approval of the residency in your home country typically takes about 10 days, and in Spain, about 20 days. And when you've got the visa here, you'll be able to apply for the TIE card. And the TIE card is the Tarjeta de Identificación de Extranjeros, which is basically a foreigner's identification card. And it's a photographic ID card, which is very useful to use when you go to the supermarket or buying something, because most businesses here will ask for proof of identity when you buy something, so you don't have to get out your passport, you don't have to carry your passport. So that's very useful. If you apply for the golden visa from your home country, you're not granted this TIE card. Okay. So the renewals, if it's renewed, the renewals happen from Spain. It's renewed for a 2-year period. So you're granted the TIE card for 2 years, and then it's renewed for then a 5-year period. Okay. The advantage of the golden visa is that you can work in Spain, and you don't have to spend a minimum period of time in Spain for the visa to be renewed. Unlike the non-lucrative visa, you have to spend a minimum of 180 days in Spain. Okay. That's basically it, Marco, for me on the golden visa.
Okay. Well, one of the most common questions that comes up, Alex, for people is if they plan to work remotely. So they want to live in Spain, but remotely they want to work for, let's say, a business back in the UK. What visa will cover them for that aspect?
Okay, so we're talking about work visas now, and there's different types of work visas. So there's you've been offered a job with a company in Spain, and you basically apply for the work visa from the consul in the UK. The employer here has to advertise the position locally, and if there are any applicants from Spain, then they have to be interviewed and put forward. But if their selection process is unsuccessful and means that you, for example, are based in the UK or outside of the EU, have received the job offer, then they would have to notify the authorities here, progress the contract here, and then you would apply for the work visa from the UK or from whatever consulate you are, wherever consulate you are in the world. And essentially, there's various types of work visa to work for a company, work visa to work as a self-employed person, or work visa to work for a set contract period, or there's a work visa if you're working for a large company in the UK and they want to send you out to Spain to work, there's a visa for that as well. So, Marco, we'd have to look at what types of visa would be most appropriate. If you're coming out, again, unfortunately, last year, if you came out as a British person wanting to buy a business here, you could come out, find the business, put an offer in, and buy it. Now, if you want to do that, you can come out, put an offer in, but then you've got to apply for a work visa from the Spanish consulate in the UK. So you've got to prepare a business plan. You've got to set out how much money you're investing in that business, how many people you employ, what the objects of the business were. So, and that is, we're working with firms of accountants to help clients prepare that business plan, but it's become a lot more complicated and drawn out than it was last year. So that's a bit of a dampener, I think, from our point of view. But we've got clients going through that process at the moment. So we prepare the business plan. You've got same documents involved, similar financial requirements. Submit that information to the Spanish consul. Get your authorization to run a business in Spain, and then you come out to Spain and then do that. So that's basically the work visas, Marco.
Right. And just to finish on that, because it may apply to some of the audience today, if you work for an English company or you want to live in Spain and you apply for the work visa, then is the tax payable still back in the UK, because obviously you're working for a UK company? How does the taxation work for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So again, remember, if you spend more than 183 days in Spain, you become a Spanish tax resident. And we're getting in kind of into a complicated issue there, because in effect, how are you working? Are you an employee or are you self-employed and invoicing the company? So if you're self-employed and invoicing the company, then you would submit an invoice to the company on a regular basis, and say on a monthly basis for your salary. And then here on a quarterly basis, you would submit a Spanish tax return and you'd pay tax here in Spain. If you're coming out for a set period of time, then the company has to obtain approval for you to come out to Spain, and then depending on how long you were out here, you would then pay tax, or the company would pay tax to the Spanish authorities. But they again have to obtain approval for you to come out to Spain. So right. it is quite specialised, and it depends on the company's circumstances and the individual circumstances.
Yeah. Okay. So on behalf of our audience today, then, Alex, there's a bit of a mix here with people that would like to fit into the non-lucrative visa application process, as well as a few that fit into the golden visa application process. So it's a mixed crowd, and you've covered both subjects, but I think we need to actually get the questions, open up the question, because it's a very individual basis, and there may be some individual circumstances that perhaps you can advise on today, but realistically, I think that each application, on its own merits, this is where you specialise, and this is where Melanie, with your one-to-one contact, it's really advisable for anybody. It doesn't matter what category you think you fall into, and that is to get the advice and the consultation to take matters further. Absolutely. So if it's okay with you guys, let's open up the question, shall we?
Yeah, so Marco, we received some questions. We've received some questions in advance. So happy to go through those. And then if anyone's got any other questions once we've gone through those, then they can put them on the chat. Just to bear in mind that we are recording this and we'll be placing it on our YouTube channel. So if you want to remain anonymous, don't mention your name. If you want to appear on our YouTube channel, then please do mention your name. But also visit our YouTube channel, because we've got some the legal services in Spain YouTube channel. We've got some interesting videos on there already, which we've recorded about the non-lucrative visa process and the golden visa process. And please follow us on our Facebook page, where we've got some information there as well.
Perfect. Okay, let's fire away then with some questions. Then the first question is directed to Melanie here. What is the position, Melanie, if you don't have the financial resources in year 3 for either non-lucrative visa or golden visa? What happens after that period if you don't have those resources in place?
Then they will simply decline the renewal of the actual visa. They will decline it on the basis of insufficient financial resources.
Right. Okay. So you may have the resources at the beginning, but you need them all the way through to get the final. Yeah,
you've got to remember that the renewal years as well are different for the non-lucrative visa to the golden visa. Okay. So you're and also the financial resources. So, for example, when you renew after the first year for the non-lucrative visa, you're renewing for 2 years. So you need to prove financial resources for 2 years, not 1 year. Well, with the golden visa, you renew it after 2 years for a period of 5 years, but you only need to show the 27,115.20 euros for the financial resources plus your initial investment. So you've got different renewal years here as well. But in answer to your question, if you don't have whatever those financial resources limits are, if you cannot meet those or demonstrate that you've got sufficient financial resources for the renewal of the visa, then they will decline it.
Okay. And how does that affect when you've got the investment in Spain?
If they won't be able to, the thing is with the golden visa, they can actually freely work in Spain. Okay, so they won't be able to, after 2 years with the golden visa, they won't be able to renew it for a further 5 years if they cannot show that they've got either a lump sum of 27,115.20 cents in the bank account, or a combination of that lump sum and some income. But don't forget, with the golden visa, they can work remotely. So they can work remotely for a UK company, or work in Spain. So they've got greater chances of actually meeting those financial resources because of their freedom of work.
Okay, that's a clear answer. Alex, one for you here. With both the non-lucrative and golden visa, what happens after the 5-year period has expired, has ended?
Okay, so essentially you get to year 5, and remember, on the renewals for the golden visa, if you apply from Spain, you get the visa for 2 years, and then you apply for then you get it for 5 years. The non-lucrative, the renewals are 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year. But when you get to year 5, you apply for what's known as the residencia de larga duración o permanente. So you're then becoming a permanent resident, and at that stage you don't have to prove that you've got those financial resources. But what is important to bear in mind is they won't renew it, Marco, if you've been out of the country for more than 10 months over the 5-year period, and if you've been out of the country for a consecutive 6 months. Okay, so you've then got to think about your tax position, and are you coming to Spain to be a tax resident, to live here lock, stock and barrel? And if so, okay, so if you wanted to talk to an accountant, we can introduce an accountant about your tax position. But if you're looking to live here long term, then that shouldn't worry you. So yeah, the key is you've got to for the renewals, you've got to have spent, for the non-lucrative visa, 180 days in Spain. So that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Okay. I think this one's back to Melanie, actually.
Okay.
If you apply for a non-lucrative visa, Melanie,
Yep.
at what point could you apply then to work in Spain? Is that a possibility?
It is. You can only apply for a modification, okay, upon renewal of the non-lucrative visa. So you can apply to modify the non-lucrative visa for a work and residence visa. So you would be working and living in Spain, but you do need to apply and get the actual modification approved, which you don't need to go back to the UK for that. You can get that approved here in Spain. Now, the renewal of the non-lucrative visa, you can start that 60 days before it expires. But what you can do, the non-lucrative visa is a great step into Spain, because during that period of the non-lucrative visa for 1 year, you can then start to put plans in motion about your work plan, because you have got to come up with the what Alex explained about the work visa. You have got to put a viable business plan together about what type of work that you're going to do, the activity, so you can start to put that in motion before your non-lucrative visa expires. And so that then when you're ready for a renewal, you can get it all lined up, the business report approved, and then you can make the modification.
Okay, that's so the advice there really is that getting the non-lucrative visa, getting yourself settled in Spain, and then making a modification process, which you can help with all of those those tasks. Yeah. Okay, I hate to say it here, Alex, but this one is actually going back to this working remotely. I mean, this must come up a lot these days with people wanting to work abroad, live abroad and work. But this particular person has got working with just 2 clients, one in the UK, one in the USA, but no business in Spain at all. How does that work?
Well, basically, it depends, Marco, on the visa that you apply for. So if that person does buy a property for more than 500,000 euros, that they can obtain a gold visa, and that means they can work. Again, under the non-lucrative visa, they can't work. So as Melanie said, after the first year, they could modify the visa, and that modification takes place in Spain. So the whole purpose of the non-lucrative visa is basically not to be able to work. It's to come here to reside and retire. So if you've got a UK company, for example, then you could receive, rather than receiving a salary, you could receive dividends, and that would be acceptable, wouldn't it? To receive dividends rather than a salary.
If you've received dividends or any kind of shares, then it is acceptable, providing you get certification or affidavit confirming that you are not engaged in any kind of work activity in that company. So it's not a salary, basically. So you're saying you receive dividends from that company, but actually you're not involved in the management, you're not involved working for that company. And then in that situation, that income is acceptable for the non-lucrative visa.
Okay, I think that that will apply to a lot of people that perhaps are retired, but the company's still in their name. That has come up before, hasn't it, Alex? Where we've talked to people in that circumstances, they're not managing, they're not actively involved, but the business is still theirs, and they may take annual dividends. So that would cover for that.
Yeah, the key is when the Spanish, if you apply for the non-lucrative visa, if the Spanish see that you are actually employed and receiving a salary, they won't give you that visa.
They'll question
it.
Yeah.
The
other thing is you can take into account. So if you decide not to sell up in the UK, and or you've got a property in the UK that you're renting out, you receive a regular income, consistent regular income. You can see that in the bank account. It's coming through rental income. You can also take that rental income into consideration for the non-lucrative visa. Right.
Okay. So that actually may be where, on a one-to-one basis, this advice is so individual that they need to talk to you, Melanie, and get the facts based on their own circumstances. Okay. The next question from the audience here is, now with the current Melanie again, with current COVID restrictions and travel issues, although we expect things to change quite soon, can I apply to be granted a visa outside of my home country?
If you are a UK national and you are resident in France, for example, you have residency in France, then you can apply at the Spanish consulate in France. If you are not a resident of that country, then no, you need to come back to the UK and apply for your non-lucrative visa or your visa in the UK, in the Spanish consulate in the UK.
Okay, that answers that one. Again, Melanie, question for the Zoom here. Obtaining a golden visa for the first year of residency seems to be quite a lot of paperwork for my wife and myself. Is it the same for the second year and third year? So are people bogged down with this a lot of paperwork and documents to prove every time?
Is this for the, sorry Marco, did you say for the golden visa?
No, it's for the non-lucrative visa.
Non-lucrative visa. You will renew the non-lucrative visa in Spain. Okay, so the documents that you won't need for renewal. So in answer to your question, no, it's not as much documentation. Okay, so you're not going to need the police certificate. Okay, so that's one thing. You're not going to need the GP certificate from the UK. So no, it's not as much documentation as before, because you will have resided in Spain for the last year. So not as much documentation at all. But also the difference is as well with the process, we present those residency applications online to the Foreigners Office for approval in the province where you live in Spain. So we receive the documents from you by email. So it is a much quicker process as well. So not as many documents are required for the renewal of the non-lucrative visa, but of course there are the basics such as private medical insurance, sufficient financial resources.
Okay, and that would be a similar situation for the golden visa, just in case that one is requested, Melanie, while you're on that.
Yeah, I mean, and they also, with the golden visa, they are also showing that they still they've maintained their original investment in that property. So they do need to get an updated land registry certificate specifically for the golden visa. So they will need to get that updated. And again, it's the financial resources and the private medical insurance that's been continued. So yeah, we do that online, renewals online there as well.
Okay, so to the audience, Ali, you're a joint host. What questions are coming in right now?
We have a lady's asking, we've got a limited company in the UK with both of us are 50% shareholders. We've got no other staff. We want to live in Spain and travel back around 7 to 10 times per month to work with clients in the UK. Can we just pay UK tax? We're buying a finca, so the golden visa is relevant because they're buying a finca over 500,000 euros. Will not be working in Spain. Also, do we need joint income of around 3,000 euros per month as well? That's the first question.
Okay, so if you buy a property for more than 500,000 euros in your own names, then yes, you can apply for the golden visa, and that means you will be able to work in Spain. Okay, we would probably best to think, have a chat about this one after this seminar, because we'd have to discuss with you who buys the property, because in Spain we've got different matrimonial regimes. Typically, when British people buy property here, they buy property under the regime of separation of assets, so they'll own 50% each. And what we would need is one of the main applicant to basically buy the property in their name and then apply for that visa, and then the spouse can join them on the back of the application as a dependent. So interesting conversation that household tonight as to who the main applicant is. But yes, and you will need to show that you've got income of as a married couple. You would need to show that you've got income or savings of 33,894 euros. The good news is, well, for example, what's important here as well is when you're buying a property in Spain, it's important to think about who's buying it. Is it for a holiday home or is it as a main residence? And if you're moving out to Spain lock, stock and barrel, and obviously whoever's paying for it should buy the property. But for example, if it was a holiday home, but you just wanted to spend more than 90 days in a 180-day period, and that's why you're thinking of the non-lucrative visa, you can buy a property in the name of your children and reserve a life interest for yourselves. And that works quite well from a Spanish inheritance tax point of view and a UK inheritance tax point of view. And we can talk to you, we can provide you with further advice about that. But if you're moving to Spain, lock, stock and barrel, I'd always say buy in your own name. But because of that, the 500k has to be in the name of one applicant. That's why it's important to have that discussion up front. But yeah, under the golden visa, you'll be able to travel backwards and forwards to the UK. You'll be able to continue to work, and yeah, you would have to prove. You'd have to provide 6 months bank statements showing that you've got income coming in or that you've got sufficient resources to live on. And remember, the minimum amounts, whether it's the golden visa or the non-lucrative visa, it's a combination of income from pensions, rental income on properties in the UK that you may have, and savings. But in the case of the non-lucrative visa, not salary. You can't show salary to demonstrate you've got sufficient means to live on, because the non-lucrative visa you can't work on. Okay, I think that one's answered that.
Yep. Next question. And if anybody has got a question, the chat box you can find at the bottom of your screen. If you're looking for the chat box and wondering where it is, it's at the bottom of your screen. Next question. We're waiting on our home sale completion. Can we apply for a non-lucrative visa before we have the full funds, or do the 6 months bank statements need to show the funds to live from are already in the account when we apply, or do they need to be there for the whole 6 months period before we can actually start applying?
Melanie, do you want to answer?
Sorry, yeah, I was just about to swing in there. Okay, as long as those funds are in the bank account, and you present the statements with the funds in there when you attend the appointment at the Spanish consulate, that will be fine. Now, sometimes what they may ask, and this is what we recommend, is because often when a lump sum's just been dropped into a bank account, it may rise, eyebrows start to sort of rise on that one. And we always recommend, it's always worth taking a sale document along with you. They may not ask to see it, but just in case they ask you, where did this lump sum come from? Because what they want to make sure is genuine funds, as in these are your funds. You just haven't placed them there or borrowed the money to put there, so that you can actually get the approval of the non-lucrative visa. That is genuinely going to be your money. When you reside in Spain for 1 year, you will have those resources to live off. So I always, yes, it's acceptable. You've got your proceeds from your property sale. They then land in your bank account. You've then got your 6 month statements, and then it's showing the extra lump sum. You've got them, stamped by your bank. But then you can take along justification that actually this was from the sale of a UK property, just in case they ask.
Okay, and another question, I think probably for you, Melanie. What's the position if you can't purchase a property of 500,000, so you can't get a golden visa, but you want to work online or remotely?
You can't. If you don't qualify for the golden visa, then the non-lucrative visa, in some consulates, Spanish consulates around the world, they call it the non-profit visa, the retirement visa. I mean, it's a non-work visa, basically. So it only allows you to reside in Spain. So you can't work online with the non-lucrative visa. The best, it comes back to, if you do eventually want to work in Spain, use the non-lucrative visa to say get you out there without working, and then during that period, when it comes to renewal of the visa, of the non-lucrative visa, you can apply for that modification to actually work in Spain, okay, to work and reside in Spain. But you cannot work for a company based outside in Spain on the non-lucrative visa. You cannot work at all.
Just to jump in there, what I would say is, remember, we're talking about the visa is only required if you want to spend more than 90 days in a 180-day period in Spain. So at the moment, Spaniards can go over to the UK and they can spend up to 180 days in the UK without the need for a visa. So we are hoping that, when the cloud of COVID and the pandemic rises, and the authorities and government bodies start to, iron out some of these Brexit wrinkles, that there might be a bit of easing as far as these requirements are concerned. That's not the case at the moment, because Spain had these rules and regulations in place already for non-Europeans, and that's exactly how they're treating Brits at the moment, as non-Europeans, despite us being a member of the European Union up until last year. So yeah, I mean, watch this space. But for the digital nomads, if they wanted to come out to Spain for 3 months with their laptop and work here, I think they'd probably get away with it. They're basically on holiday working from their hotel room or hiring a property. That to me is a digital nomad.
Next question from Melanie. Do the funds need to show in a Spanish bank account or a UK bank account?
No, a UK bank account. A UK bank account is fine. For your first application, no need to show Spanish bank accounts. Obviously, if you have got a Spanish bank account with all the funds there and everything, then that's fine too. But when you do become, after the first year, and you renew we talk about non-lucrative visa here, when you renew it after the first year, use your Spanish bank account. If you have one, use your Spanish bank account to submit the proof of financial resources.
Okay. Next question. I won't have a lump sum in my account until I've sold my home.
Yeah.
So does that mean I can't apply for the non-lucrative visa now?
It means that if you can't prove that you've got sufficient financial resources in your bank account, which is the 27,115.20 euros, it means that if you can't demonstrate that, you can't actually apply. No, because you haven't got sufficient financial resources to live in Spain for 1 year. So you are going to need to wait till the funds are in your account if you haven't got that much.
Okay. And just a clarification on what type of funds you need. Do all savings have to be in a bank account? What about premium bonds, certificates, ISAs, etc.?
ISAs are fine. Premium bonds, they need to be. With premium bonds, it needs to be, if it's accessible and they can access the funds, then they should accept the premium bonds. No, as long as there's not sort of restrictions about when they can have, they've got to give 90 days notice to access those funds, then it should be fine. But preferably it would be, it's a bank account, whether a savings account or a current account, and an ISA statement. Those are all good proof of financial resources.
Would you have any advice for people that are obviously they won't have the funds until they sell their home, and then don't want to risk selling their home in case they don't get the visa?
There really shouldn't be a reason why they won't get the visa. If those documents are correct, they've been checked, they meet the requirements that the Spanish consulate are looking for, then there shouldn't be a reason why it rejects. For example, they request an ACRO police certificate, it comes up no trace, then there's no reason for why they would reject that. So I can't stress how important it is to have these documents in a presentable format which meets the Spanish consulate's requirements, because you only need to get the wording wrong on a GP certificate, and they will ask you, they won't accept it. So it's very, very important that these documents are checked first of all, and that pre-check is determined. You should get approval of the visa if you've got everything in order, sufficient financial resources. The private medical insurance is a provider an insurance provider that's authorized to operate in Spain, and also it complies with the actual residency requirements. So those are all the things that we check. We check, that the private medical insurance documents are correct. So if you've got all that correct, then there shouldn't be a reason. But if you walk into the Spanish consulate and they start, particularly London, they start asking you questions, they see that they might see that you're 45 years old, and then they start just having a general conversation, and they say to you, oh, so what are you going to do in Spain? Da, da, da. And you start talking, then all of a sudden you slip out that you're going to be working remotely. Sorry. They will say, no, sorry, you can't work remotely with this non-lucrative visa. Yeah. So, and this is why it's very important to prepare before that appointment, so you know what, it's not just about the documents that you've obtained. You need to know what documents you need copying, and in the order to present the documents. It really is important.
Yeah, okay. On the medical insurance side, if you've got a pre-existing condition, could that actually stop you being able to get medical insurance and prevent the visa going through?
I mean, the best thing to do there is to actually, we've got a link on our website to an insurance provider. There is to actually go onto that link, click onto it, and speak to them about the actual insurance side of things on there, because they'll know the requirements as well for residency.
Can you show a sale is in process and the amount that you're selling it for to aid with your visa application?
They want to see the funds in the actual bank account. They need to be there, because they could argue that what happens if that sale doesn't materialize. So when you're showing financial resources, it's got to be in the bank account. It's got to be there in the statements. They won't accredit it, financial resources, with a pending purchase or sale waiting to complete.
Okay. There is one last question that's just popped up, Alex, if there's time to ask it, which is just literally to confirm that if you purchase a property for less than 500,000 euros, you can't get a golden visa. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. And Ali, so just to allay everyone's concerns, I mean, there's a procedure in place. The Spanish authorities are using it. They are granting visas. Yes, there's quite a lot of documents to collate, but we can help you with that. You shouldn't feel worried or concerned about the process. I'm certain you will get the visa if you tick the boxes. Contact us on the inquiries at legalservicesinspain.com. We can send you some leaflets about the procedure. We can send you details of the costs. We're acting for clients all over Spain buying property and then also applying for their visas. A lot of clients at the moment are putting in place powers of attorney. So power of attorney can be signed before a notary in the UK or in your home country. With that power of attorney comes to Spain, we can apply for your NIEs, which is Spanish tax numbers, and we can open a bank account for you. And that power of attorney can help you with the residency process and also with the buying process. So, we're here to help. We're going to be holding more seminars like this. Do have a look at our YouTube channel. If you've got any other questions or queries, do contact us by email. And from our point of view, really, really grateful that you all attended. And I'm looking forward to getting home and having some food.
Get the dinner on.
Okay, so
we have actually got a poll that I'm going to launch.
Yes, let's do the poll.
There, Alex, one of the questions is, what is the cost for a visa application? But I'm guessing each application is slightly different. So if people contact you, you'll be able to advise them what the cost would be. Or
yeah, exactly. The process is slightly. We can split them up, so we divide it up between the non-lucrative visa stage 1, which is the UK side, and then stage 2 coming over to Spain and helping you get the TIE card. And we do the same with the golden visa. But we're in the process of updating our website, so we will have fees published on the website shortly. But in the meantime, please contact the website so visit the website and email us inquiries at legalservicesinspain.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've got a leaflet on the non-lucrative visa and on the golden visa as well. So if anybody wants that sort of overview of information emailing to them, then we can do that as well.
So what was it? Oh, Ali.
Okay, so I mean, I think that's the end of the session. We'd like to say thank you to Ali for asking those questions and setting up this webinar today. and of course the legal services in Spain team. We did have Monica there as well, so sorry we didn't get Monica on the questions and answers, but Melanie and Alex Radford and the rest of the team that are in the office, and all of the people today, thank you for joining in with this webinar. It's really, we need you to ask the questions and obviously get other people to join in as well. So pass the word around. As Alex said, we're doing a number of these sessions, so if you didn't get if something comes up and you want to join in again, then please do so, and follow the Facebook page. Lots of information that Ali puts up there, and the YouTube channel with all the other videos. And don't forget the website where you can find out costs and prices and fees for all the services. So welcome again in the future.